microphone on?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I have several questions without notice. To reiterate that one that you referred to, it was a question, does the CAP, are they aware of the Marion Council policy, which just released this week? It's their carbon neutral strategy, and it includes becoming fossil free, because I think the information I've read it I would think if the CAP's not aware, it would be a very useful document for them to be aware of.
So we'll take that on notice and they can follow that up with a response.
Okay. My second question that I touched on tonight was regarding petitions. And I'm often asked this and I'm confused. We do have an item regularly on the agenda which gives you the impression that they must be a big part of what we do or a mandated part. But the question I can't answer is, even though it's on the agenda, what happens next? You know, people could have spent a lot of money, a lot of time, have many, many thousands of signatures, be very passionate, come to that podium, table it, but I'm not clear on what happens next. Does anything happen next?
Well, petition is just a petition. It doesn't necessarily have to have an outcome. A petition, then it is up to either, it might be up to the council body to raise a motion as a result of that petition, and then it's tested. Council makes its decisions through resolution, not through petitions.
So I guess the answer is that you could do a lot of work and get an awful lot of signatures, be it on traffic, be it on whatever, and you could bring it in a sack truck and say the people have spoken, and that could be the end of it. It's just filed on a bench somewhere, covered.
It's part of testing the democratic process, so it really is up to the elected member group.
So unless the elected members move a motion, there's no trigger for the CEO or for admin or anybody to act on that?
Not necessarily, because it's not a direction. It's not possible for a petition to direct staff. Only a council resolution can do that.
Okay, well, I think I know the answer to tell people. Yep. All right, thank you for that one. Next question. If parking in Murray Street was reduced to only a half to 1 hour during business hours, would this benefit most businesses in the main street that rely on short-term pop-in for business?
Oh God, I'd hate that. Sorry. I like my 2-hour parks in the main street. What about the hairdressers?
Well, as you're commenting, what I would say is anyone who wants a 2-hour
it's not everybody
park,
who just gets coffee,
we've got plenty of parks just off, but there's a lot of businesses that people want to get a coffee, they want to get a sandwich, a Vietnamese roll, that you've got to have a park out the front for that. And the problem that businesses are telling me is that is detrimental, because people do park for 2 hours in the main street or 3 hours in the main street.
I saw Councillor Hughes park out the front of Subway at the Fringe when it was packed. It was actually quite impressive, actually. Anyway, we'll take that on notice.
Are we talking on business hours? Because this is during business hours, is what I'm saying.
That was 5 o'clock.
There's many
still open.
There's many of those businesses that it's their lunchtime, it's their 11 o'clock.
I'll take that on notice. I think that's under your portfolio.
Can I just point out that I'm seeing people being frivolous and laughing. This is a legitimate question, because I get asked this by businesses, and it is affecting them in those business hours. And we have seen a lot of that type of shop leave the main street or struggle. And we do have parking just off for longer term. What this would do would be saying, look...
No, I appreciate,
do you understand
it's a serious question.
Yeah,
and
it's not a frivolous question.
It's not a frivolous question
I didn't want it to be mocked.
No, I'm not mocking it.
No, not you, others.
But we will take it on notice and get a detailed answer around that. Thank you.
Okay.
I might ask for that we adjourn the meeting. It's 25 past and we don't have an extension of time. Are you happy to move an adjournment? Councillor Davies, I beg your pardon. Sorry.
Yeah, I move that we adjourn to a special council meeting before the next ordinary meeting.
thank you. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Kosh. All those in favour, please raise your hands. All those against? It is all those in favour? All those against? It is lost. We don't have an adjournment. 3 minutes. Okay. Keep going. Keep going. We do need an adjournment. It is best practice to have an adjournment because it is good practice to have an adjournment. Anyway, keep going, Councillor Tooley. I think you had some more questions.
Through the next one. Is the Hans Huyssen facility that we're promoting down the bottom a private for-profit making enterprise, or is it a public enterprise?
Oh, my understanding, is it a not-for-profit? It's a not-for-profit entity.
No, it's in the Huyssen family. It's a Huyssen family enterprise, totally owned by them.
I defer to your expertise on this. I'm just hearing from Mr. Barrett that it's a not-for-profit organisation. Is it an NGO?
Through the Chair, my understanding is the foundation, the Hans Huyssen Foundation this exhibition comes from, is a not-for-profit organisation.
I think that needs to be checked. My second question, is the exhibition essentially a promotional advert to attract people to buy tickets and visit the Hans Huyssen facility?
Well, that's my impression, Councillor Tooley, but other people have enjoyed the exhibition in its own right, but it does have a tap and go, and it talks about the Cedars quite a lot.
Yeah.
But people have different views on that, but I don't disagree with you.
I went to the promotion. I had thought it was an exhibition, but in fact, when I went and viewed it, it's actually more a promotion. There's no actual artefacts of his.
No.
There's a suitcase there that looks like he could have used it, but there's no paintings.
No, I did raise that question because I was advised that you would need a full-time, to quote staff, you would need a full-time security guard because the cost is just prohibitive.
Is the Civic Centre space available then for other historic sites in SA to use for the same promotional purposes?
It depends on what they've got, I guess, but travelling exhibitions are travelling exhibitions.
That's not an exhibition.
It's classed as an exhibition. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all.
I think it is by them, but I think it's a very cunning promotion to get business for that centre. And my final question is, as an example, is there anything to prevent Anlaby Station from submitting a similar promotional display?
That exhibition, I believe, cost us $1,000. Is that correct? Yes.
That cost us $1,000.
That's right.
I was significantly underwhelmed when I went and walked. I really thought I'd find something from Hans Huyssen, but I have to say to you, I believe you're in and out quickly, and what you're being told is a little bit of a timeline of his life, but come and spend some money. And I think we may have been hoodwinked into giving them, and it's a clever ploy, a beautiful space to promote their enterprise. Now, if we're doing that, I think we've got no grounds to say no. I use that example, Anlaby. Anlaby is a National Trust historic site that operates in a similar way. You come there, you visit the architecture, the gardens. I don't believe we could say no to them if they chose to do that. We've set a precedent.
I guess it depends who approaches, and I guess it's something that we would consider. I guess my view is that our heritage collection is still very much untapped, and I'd love to see a little bit more of it.
Don't disagree on that, separate thing, but I think we've been hoodwinked, and we're actually giving Hans Huyssen family enterprise free advertising in a premium space, and it is not a Hans Huyssen come and look at my artwork display, is what I thought it was when I came to the promotion, glasses of wine and all the rest of it. lovely talks, but she's a very clever CEO, and that's gone to Kangaroo Island, it's gone to Mount Barker, it's come to us, and they must be lapping it up. They're paying no money to get promotion on our doorstep at our expense for their enterprise.
So it is now 10:30 and I'm going to close the meeting. Thank you. And yeah, we'll see you at the next council meeting. No.